play through. My expectation is the Lions will put Stafford out there in practice this week to see how much he can handle and make a determination about whether he can play Sunday, but they are optimistic that he will be able to go. We'll keep an eye on Stafford and what level of work he does in practice this week. In Dallas, it seems the Ben DiNucci and Garrett Gilbert era may be over as Andy Dalton is back at practice. Remember, he had the concussion and then he was on the COVID list, and now they expect that he will be able to return from those situations and regain the job as the starter this weekend following the bye. So it looks like Dallas plans to go back to Dalton as the replacement for Dak Prescott as they continue to find something that works this season.
It's worth pointing out again, they are very much in the playoff chase, so it's not as though that doesn't make any difference, as crazy as that sounds, because of the division. Meanwhile, as we go over to the AFC, as we approach Week 11 here, there is a logjam in that conference. There are 9 teams that have 6 or more wins. There are only 7 postseason spots available, as you are well aware. So someone's going to get left out of this party. A number of teams in the mix for a playoff spot, including 6 of them that are currently 6-3. Let's take a look at the picture here. The Browns and the Dolphins, currently according to our analytics, have the lowest chance of making it in from the 6-3 group. That is according to ESPN's FPI. So here's what I want to do. As we look at the 6-3 teams, let me bring in some of the crew here. I got RC, I got Pollock, and I got you, Graz. And RC, I'll start with you. Of all the 6-3 teams in the AFC, give me the one you are most confident will miss the playoffs. Who's not going to make it?
You know what? I'm not very confident, but I think it's the Cleveland Browns. When we look at the Cleveland Browns, we talked Monday on how they're scared to run offense through their quarterback. They still seem to be very run heavy. And you heard Kevin Stefanski say, I need to protect Baker Mayfield. I need to call plays a certain way. I don't think that's a way to get in the playoffs, especially when your quarterback's the #1 overall pick. And we've been waiting for that post-OBJ explosion, especially since the Cincinnati game. And maybe it's been weather, maybe it's been circumstances, but we just haven't seen it. And with the Ravens still to play, with the Steelers still to play, I think the Cleveland Browns find themselves right outside of the playoffs because they also meet the Texans, who I think somebody may bring up here later. And I expect the Titans, who they play later. And I think the Titans will win that game as well.
Well, that's an interesting one. And David, that leads us to you. Who do you think of the 6-3 teams is the likeliest to be left out?
Stop peeping ahead, Clark. I know I'm going to say the Titans. I'm going to say the Titans,
I got the rundown.
By the way. Defense. Yeah, stop cheating on the test, man. Over there on the Scantron, peeping over there, A, B, C. Anyway, when you look at the Titans, man, their defense has been bad. It's been really bad. Their special teams are a hot mess. I mean, it's awful. Like punting the ball, missing field goals, getting punts blocked. I just don't trust them. And when you look at their wins, by the way, 6 of the 7 wins won by 7 points or less. And you're talking about the Vikings by 1, the Broncos by 2, the Jags by 3, the Texans by 5. I don't trust the Titans. I know they had a good run a year ago. I don't think they're the same team from a year ago. I can't buy into the Tennessee Titans and what I've seen from them.
Graziano, 6-3 team that's going to miss.
Yeah, I'm with David here on the Titans. I think, look, there's a lot working against them. Brian mentions the game against Cleveland. That game is in Tennessee. That's unusual. Of their remaining 7 games, 5 are on the road, including one in Green Bay in late December. They got to go a bunch of tough places. And the point that David just made about the special teams is not to be underestimated. Mike Vrabel is sticking with Stephen Gostkowski as his kicker, former teammates, even though Gostkowski continues to miss kicks. The punt situation is a problem. Those are the things that can make a big difference when the margins are as small as they are in the NFL, and talking about a crowded AFC playoff race like this. If you can't count on your kicking game, you've got a big problem.
Yeah, they still have to play, to your point, at Baltimore, at Indy, and at Green Bay. Yeah, and they have all those games on the road. The only thing they have in their favor is they could still win their division. They have 2 ways to get in. The teams in the other divisions, generally speaking, only have 1 way to try to get in. They still have 2 ways they could possibly get in.
They did lose to Indy, who they're tied with.
They have that one of those, but they get the chance to avenge it if they do. Those teams meet again. That one's in Indianapolis. So that's that playoff picture. Now it is time for Domonique to answer a whole bunch of questions.
I don't know the question you're trying to ask. Be better tomorrow.
I'm not answering that. That's a clown question, bro.
Next. Mike, why are you in such a bad mood? What do you care?
What else do you want to know?
Next question.
Your next question.
Next question.
Facing team.
Next question.
I'm not going to answer any questions from you.
Answer my question! The question, jerk!
Here we go. I'm about to ask a series of hard-hitting, provocative questions, and whether he wants to or not, Domonique has to answer them directly. And we were just talking about the AFC playoff picture. Let's go to the worst division maybe ever. Domonique, who wins the NFC East?
I mean, I guess it has to be the Eagles because the rest of that division is like a very serious dumpster fire. Like, no one seems to want to win it. I know that the Eagles lost to the Giants recently, and the Giants seem to be coming around, getting a little better. But I have to trust the Eagles because we've seen them have success in the past, even in light of some injuries. I think they'll get better as the season goes along. None of these teams are going to do anything in the playoffs, and obviously the Cowboys are done because their quarterback is gone. So I guess I have to give it by default. They're going to fall. Maybe I don't pick a winner of the division. I just pick 3 losers of the division. That makes the Eagles, by default, the winner of that division.
Yes, fair enough. And I will say it again. And RC, I'm looking right at you. They're going to win the division because of the tie. Meanwhile,
No!
Let's just. Yes, you know I'm right. Now, let's just live in a world now for our second question, Domonique, where the Eagles don't win it. If they wind up not winning this terrible division, who goes, the coach or the quarterback?
Well, I mean, I think those guys are probably tied together, but financially, they're more tied to Carson Wentz because of the damage that it would do to their cap without of Carson Wentz. So if we somehow get to some situation where they have to choose one or the other, I think that they stick with Carson Wentz and try to find somebody who can unlock Carson Wentz rather than move on from him, because you can pay coaches as much as you want to pay them. There is no cap on coaches. You can continue to pay multiple coaches if you want to, but I don't think that I know you can't do the same thing with quarterbacks. That money is spent for the next several years, and Carson Wentz has shown glimpses of greatness, and you could argue that the reason why he hasn't been able to sustain that is because they lost some coaches like Frank Reich who are leading that offense. Oh, the NFC East. You guys found a picture of the NFC East for me. It's beautiful.
Okay. Yes, we put that together just after you said it. Well done, crew. Okay, last question. Domonique, here we go. I want you to look in the Domonique Foxworth crystal ball. We've got 3 rookie quarterbacks playing and playing well. Of them, Burrow, Tua, Herbert, which one has the best career?
Oh, it's easy. It's Tua to me because it's not about the talent necessarily. And don't forget, Tua was the best quarterback any of us has ever seen a few years ago until he got injured and people were falling off. Like, he has great anticipation, great accuracy. He is great. But the reason why I think he has the best career is about everything around him. What they've done down in Miami is special. They have 4 first-round picks in the next 2 seasons, 8 in the first 2 rounds over the next 2 seasons, and they already have a great defense with tremendous cornerback play. I think that this team is set up to own that division in the near future, and I can't say the same for Burrow in that tough division with the Ravens and the Steelers and the Chargers. Like, you never really know. It feels like that organization is cursed. I like the way Herbert is playing, but they're going to need some more help to get out of the situation that they're in. Tua is in the best situation, and he, quite frankly, might be the most talented of the 3, too.
Yeah, and Herbert winds up in a division now with Patrick Mahomes, probably for the rest of his career as well. All right, Domonique Foxworth, well done. Meanwhile, the next questions all surround the NBA draft because the wait ends tonight.